What's your name?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Hannah.
And what's your name?
Zoe.
And who are you? Huh?
Molly.
No, you're Molly.
I'm Molly.
And who are you?
There.
You're Zara.
I'm
Ooh.
Caroline.
You don't know your name? This is baby C, which of course is Molly. This is baby B. This is Zoe. This is Caroline. And oh, she's making a little noise just for the camera. How about that? Caroline, baby A. Here's an aerial view of the three amigos. I cannot get them all on the cameras. There's too many babies. There's Molly, lurking around. And there's Zoe following Molly. And there goes Caroline with the hood on. We don't know why she has it.
My name's Caroline, and I was born on January 17th, 1997.
My name is Molly, and I was born on January 17th, 1997.
My name is Zoe, and I was also born on January 17th, 1997.
And I'm a triplet.
My name's Rose, and I am the mother of the triplets.
My name is Larry, and I am the father of the triplets.
We already had one child when I found out I was pregnant again. So the doctors wanted to make sure that everything was okay since I was a little bit older. So when we went in for testing, they found out that there were actually 3 babies instead of 1. And it was a surprise, to say the least.
My reaction was that I was shocked, just shocked. Didn't think about it much after that, just shocked.
And I asked if, when we found out they were 3 girls, I asked him if that was, if he was a little concerned or, it bothered him. But the first thing he said was, as long as they're all healthy, that's all that really mattered to us.
Good. Tell Santa you're triplets? Triplets? You do, you all look alike. Oh my goodness. And a big sister too, isn't it? A big sister? Yeah. Well, that means she's different, huh?
Yeah, everybody's different.
That's everybody's different.
My name's Hannah. I am the triplets' older sister.
The initial reaction for Hannah was nothing. The babies came into the house and everything was fine. But about 6 months later, I have a sister-in-law who was pregnant at the same time that I had the triplets. So she had her baby, and I came home and I called Hannah and I said, Hannah, I just want to let you know that Aunt Christine had her baby. And Hannah looked at me. She kind of looked confused, and she said, did she just bring home 1 baby? And I said, yeah, Aunt Christine had 1 baby. And she said, I thought that everybody brought home 3 babies. And I said, no, we had a good laugh. And I said, Hannah, most people bring home 1. It was a little different that you got 3 sisters, but she was much happier that 3 came home than 1.
So when you originally tell anybody, that you either first met, or sometimes I wait until I'm kind of friends with them to tell them that I'm a triplet, their initial response is like, no. And then you're like, yeah. And they're like, no. And I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, then it comes the, are you identical? And you're like, no. And automatically, they completely lose half of their surprise. They're like, oh, well, if you're not identical, then you might as well just be sisters, because what's the point?
I think the most asked question that we get is, do you like it? And my answer to that would probably be the same as Molly and Caroline, but it's normal. For you, normal might be a brother and a sister, 1 sister, 3 brothers, anything like that, being an only child. But for us, having triplets and having an older sister, that's our normal.
I think that we're similar. Wow, I don't know.
If we are we not similar?
I don't think we're well, I guess we're similar in just the values we have, just because we were raised by the same people. So there's got to be some common things in that. But I think for the most part we're pretty different. Even when we're not different, we decide that we want to be different and decide to take the other stance on whatever issue is at hand.
So growing up with triplet sisters was, I guess kind of different. I can't really say that I know what it would be like to not have them, but it was definitely a lot of fun growing up. I always had someone to play with. I always had someone who would be on my side for an argument. So I think the best part about the 3 triplets is that they are so different from each other. For me, it was good because when we ever got into like arguments over things, there wasn't always like their side and my side. Sometimes just because they were so different, they would kind of like go head to head with each other instead of just against me, which was nice. But I love that each of them brings like something so different, and it's like you're not just meeting like one version of like the same people, you're meeting like 3 different versions of 3 different people, and just because they're triplets doesn't necessarily mean they're like the same or that they like need to be the same.
So specifically with Caroline, she was the most reactional child. Like everything seemed to shock her. Over the course of time, she became much more relaxed.
I think my artistic ability has made me different because we've all been, really driven and hardworking in school and all that kind of stuff, but we all have had like almost different niches. Like Zoe's kind of more athletic and is really good at school, and Molly's very outgoing and kind of like a free spirit and does what she wants. And then I have always kind of been into art, and I've taken art classes my whole life and painted and drew pictures, and it's been like that since I've been little, so I think that kind of is what separates me. And now I'm going to school for graphic design, so. Right now I'm doing an assignment for my color and design class. We had to represent 2 different emotions through paintings that we did, and our 2 emotions were exuberance and anxiety. Right now I have to do my anxiety one, but I already did my exuberance one. And so yeah, this is just one of my assignments for color and design. I think me and Molly really are similar, especially in our creative aspect. Me, it's more so through painting, but her, it's through different things. Like right now, she's actually wants to start a business that I'm going to help her with about like repurposing clothing, and we can kind of paint on clothes and make them almost like new.
Okay, so I'm a business major at Wieden University, and I have a concentration in, my major is management, and I have a concentration in marketing. So along with the management, my goal eventually is to own my own company. And my first idea for a company was this company called Revive, which is what this is. So the whole point of the company is that we would take thrifted items and hire artists to paint their artwork on them and then sell them online in a store. So we take things like mostly sweatshirts and flannels was the big one. I like drawing these mandalas, so that's what most of our products are right now. But eventually I want to hire all different types of artists, college students, high school students that want to express themselves and paint on clothes.
Well, Molly decided things were going to be her way. She at times said she didn't want to be a triplet anymore, which was not a choice. So she kind of did her own thing.
Molly. When she's ready.
Molly, stop messing with the presents, will you?
See how nice Zoe is? Zoe and Caroline are just standing there.
She was the boss, and she told everybody what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And she still tries to do that today. Doesn't work as well because they're all independent, but back then, Molly tried to be the boss.
I've never worried about her as an adult because I know that she's always going to be able to make her own way.
So I'm in a sorority, that's like kind of takes up most of my time when I'm at school. Every sorority has philanthropy, and our main philanthropy is, we have 2. It's school and college readiness, which we like help underprivileged kids with school supplies and stuff like that. And then we also do Make-A-Wish, which is really like very, very cool. We just had a Make-A-Wish party about a month ago, where we told our wish child that she was going to Disney, and we decorated the house like a princess castle, and we dressed up as princesses, and it was really fun. As a kid, like, you're put into every single sport. Like, that's just kind of what everyone's parents do. Most of them do. Soccer was a big thing for my dad. It was his favorite sport and everything. And we all started out in it, but Caroline had a little bit of an episode one year and broke her arm and decided that soccer was no longer something she was interested in. So it ended up being me and Zoe. We were in it for the long haul. We played soccer until high school. She left me to go pursue a tennis career, which I was a little salty about, but you know, whatever. But yeah, we grew up playing soccer together, and we had fun. We were a little competitive, and I think that kind of pushed each other to be better. But like, if I was a little bit faster than her, which was not often, but like one time, I remember one year being like, I beat her time in like some kind of sprint, but she was so mad, and like she would always like, so then like that, I think that for the rest of the week she like ran every day, because like there was no way that I was gonna beat her in a run. And then even when like she switched to tennis, which I literally never played tennis in my life, had no interest in playing tennis in my life, I was like, oh yeah, like I could beat you. And she'd be like, oh no you can't. And I'm like, yeah, I could probably beat you. Like, I could beat you in tennis. And I think we actually did put our money where our mouth was that one time, and I like got my butt kicked.
Right now I'm on the Arcadia tennis team, but growing up we did, especially me and Molly, we did soccer, we did track, we did softball. So I definitely think that taught us good, healthy competition, and that made us better people, because now we try our hardest and we do the best that we can. So I'm a chemistry major at Arcadia on the track for pre-forensic science to get a master's in forensic science. So I think that's the main difference between me, Molly, and Caroline. I think I've always been a more analytical, by-the-book, like scientific person. Molly's more innovative and free-spirited, and Caroline's creative and artistic. So I think we've all kind of separated in that way.
I've always said I'm raising the fair police, because not only Zoe but the other two as well. Everything is always concerned about what's fair, which is a good thing in the long run.
It's kind of a necessary thing when you have that many kids the same age.
Right.
I think one of the most important lessons we were taught as kids was to share. You know, I remember on Christmas opening our presents, and the first thing that would come out of somebody's mouth would usually be, oh yeah, I'll share with you.
Sharing all of that. We're sharing 5 o'clock. And here's one for everybody.
Let me see.
Sharing. I'll share with Zoe. I'll share with Lee.
You hear communication is key, but for us it was definitely sharing is key. You know, that gave life a little more order, and it wasn't as chaotic with 4 girls. So I think that sharing is an important lesson for anyone to learn, but it's necessary for triplets to learn.
I definitely think we were all treated differently because of being a triplet. It was a little harder like when we were younger, maybe like grade school, middle school-ish, because it's also like seen almost like as a package, and like we're all kind of together. And when we were like little in like 1st, 2nd grade, you know, having kids over your house is one thing, but having 3 kids at once is a lot. So some parent, like, I feel like maybe sometimes we might have gotten excluded.
I think that automatically when you're younger, people don't necessarily separate you into 3 different people. You know, they kind of assume that you're gonna have some kind of like attachment to your sisters because you shared a womb. So I guess we should have attachment, but we don't. I mean, they're my sister, just like my older sister's my sister. Like, I don't pick either of them over each other. So one of the things is attention, that like you'd run into problems with having four girls, even just having 3 kids the same age, 1 girl older. Like, everybody wants attention, and I think that having the family that we had kind of substituted for like when my parents could only focus on one person at a time. We always had somebody that was like giving us attention. So. But a lot of people at school ask me like, oh, like, where do your sisters go? And it's kind of awkward when I'm like, oh, like, they both go to Arcadia. And they're like, both of them? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, well, did they don't like you then? And I'm like, well, they better like me. But no, like it was never a thought in my mind that we had to go together. I think they were almost upset at each other that they chose the same school. And then when they talk about, oh, did they room together? I'm like, oh no, they don't room together because I think they'd kill each other. And that's just how it is. Like, I think that's with any sibling, but I think it's mostly with us is that when we fought, we didn't just like, I hate you, like, you take, because you knew them so well, you'd go right for like the jugular.
When we were younger, in particular, me and my sister Molly would get into some knockdown dragouts, and Zoe was definitely like the mediator through all of that.
I also find that people call us twins. Like when they're referring to your other two sisters instead of like the other triplets, they're like, oh, you're twins.
Yeah, like because we go to school together.
But I don't really know if that's right or not.
Okay, am I gonna be able to talk or?
Now you're like making it tough, so she has to edit your
Well, because I'm
assholeness
trying
out.
to say something and then you just like you're like Mom, like with that.
So now now you have to be an asshole, and now she has to edit your assholeness out. We were doing fine until you started being.
All right, stop.
Stop, like let
Go
other
ahead,
people
Carol.
talk.
What do you got?
She can't. I mean, I love them and we've had great times together, but there have definitely been some fights.
How about dressing like during the holidays?
Well, all year.
Yeah. When did that stop?
24 hours a day.
That stopped
So
eventually.
we normally-
I guess we at school.
We normally had like the same outfits.
Different
but in,
colors.
like, different colors.
Sometimes we
yeah.
had the same outfits, just the same outfits.
Yeah, just the exact same.
Like the black velvet dresses with Cinderella
Yeah.
in the middle.
When did we stop dressing the same?
Probably when we got to school.
Yeah.
Older.
Then we put uniforms on.
And then we put uniforms on,
So then we were all dressed the same.
So we were still the
We were all
same.
used to it.
Something that's really good about being a triplet is that you always have that person. So like when you were younger, like we probably took this for granted just because we didn't know any better, but like there was always someone like to play with or like talk to. You were never like by yourself.
You always had somebody there for you. I think that's how it will be our entire lives. They've always had my back and I've always had theirs, and it's nice to know that there's two people who are like the same age and can relate to you, and we're all kind of in the same points in our life at the same time, like going through high school and then college, so we all kind of understand what each other's going through.
So I think when anyone meets us, they can honestly tell almost right away that we're three very different people. You've got Caroline, the artist, and Molly, the entrepreneur, and myself, the more scientist. So, I don't think you can get much more different than that. So even though we've grown up together in the same house, we've developed into pretty different, separate people with our own unique interests.
And I think that them being triplets and them having grown up together and kind of always been in the same classes and always done things together and still have been able to become such like different people is so cool.
We've definitely had ups and downs together, but there's not many people that can say they have two other people who have gone through the same things as they have at the same time and have had the same experiences. They were the two people who I walked in with on the first day of kindergarten, the two people who I stood with in my cap and gown at our high school graduation, and they're the two people who I've experienced everything in between with. People might ask, would I rather not be a triplet? Would it be easier? For me, the answer would probably, yeah, it might be easier. For my parents, for myself. But would I ever change it? No.
Ultimately, they're three very different children, but when it comes down to it, they have each other's back.
Heck, I wish I was a triplet sometimes.
Well. way.
The three-way.